Hey guys, hope you all have been well. Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're just going to talk a little bit about the surge of no buys and low buys. For those of you that have been on here for a while, I did do a no buy roughly about a year's worth, and it has definitely changed my outlook on the way I spend money when it comes to makeup. But I've also noticed that it's been kind of on the up and up, and it's interesting because if this were a few years back, say around 2016-17, the height of the makeup industry boom, it's drastically different. I feel the direction that we're taking makeup and the way that we approach the consumption of these products. So let's get started. Now, I don't think I'm the only one that's noticed this rise. I think people, if you watch beauty content, then you are aware of the increase in content related to no buying and low buying, and with different reasons attached to it, whether that's saving money, whether that's using what is already been stored in your collection and not letting those things go to waste. Or maybe it's saving up for something that, is in the future, whether that's a family, whether that's a house. And so whatever the reasons may be, there is definitely an increase in the content of low buying and no buying. And having said that, I don't think that the makeup bubble is going to burst. I think at this point, it's sort of on a plateau. We've seen this steep incline of popularity when it comes to makeup, and since there's so much on the market, and it's sort of reached a point where it's like, what else can we come up with? I feel like it's leveled out. And so you have people who maybe have bigger collections saying, I have a lot of this stuff already, I might not need to purchase X, Y, and Z. But you also still have makeup newbies, people coming into the market and purchasing stuff. So makeup is not necessarily going anywhere, but we're seeing the leveling out of maybe the consumption of it at such an exponential rate like it was a few years back. And in addition to the fact that, makeup will never die down, it's because makeup has become a profession on different levels. So there's always going to be a need for makeup. So you have, the professionals, the makeup artists, and now they've reached sort of this celebrity status within the makeup community. So they're going to be pushing out stuff, whether it's stuff that they use or stuff that they make themselves. Then you have social media, the influencers, whether that's Instagram or YouTube. There's always going to be a need to have makeup available to share, to use as a means to create content in whatever platforms they use. And with that comes the sponsorships, the giveaways, the PRs. And lastly, just to give off some ideas, you have people starting up their own brands to create other options on the market because it's so desired. So makeup will always be here, but I think the urgency to have and to bring out more, I think people are sort of being more mindful, and that just kind of ties into the whole idea of no buying and low buying. And I did want to go back, kind of like take it back a few notches and revisit the idea that we've already reached the height of makeup popularity. And if you've been on YouTube and all of that for some time, that was around 2016 when everything was coming out left and right and people were eating it all up. I want to buy this and I want to have that, and I need to have this because so and so said this is amazing, and I need to have this collection because YouTube. And now that we've come from that, a few years after, just like when you consume too much of anything, it kind of gets a little draining. And what you're seeing and noticing, I would say within the past year or so, is people saying like, it's overwhelming, it's too much. And that can be a two-part thing, whether that's the saturation of the market as well as just having too much in your own space. To some capacity, I feel like no buying and low buying is the new trend of makeup, and that might have to do with the increased popularity of minimalism, trying to take care of the earth, trying to make do with what you have, not feeding into consumerism. And that's not to say that there isn't all of that going on, but people are more aware of it. And I think that has kind of infiltrated into the makeup community in the sense of low buys and no buys. And when we look at contents that were very popular and still are, you're seeing a surgence of new types of content. So for example, you have the popularity of just hauling and hauling all the time. And now you're seeing videos like shopping your stash, or you're seeing people give themselves a budget with low buys or refraining from purchases with no buys. There's an uprising of those sorts of content. You're seeing some YouTubers shop their stash or, decline certain types of sponsorships and PRs because it's so overwhelming. Another example would be the what's new at Sephora. Those were pretty popular, people going and letting you know this is available in Sephora, these are the new items, this is what's new, what's coming out. And now you're seeing people take you to places like TJ Maxx and showing you what's on sale. So maybe not necessarily the no-buy route, but looking for affordable or discounted options of popularized items so that people can save money. And it all makes sense. It's kind of a tough time to be in, and people are being more frugal, being more mindful of the way that they spend their money, and that can be applicable to makeup on a large or small scale. So in this time, creators are having to be more creative in how they make content that matches the kind of lifestyle they're trying to adjust to. So for me, that's kind of how I've come about talking about no buying, talking about decluttering, being more mindful of purchases, because along the way I've realized that there are things that I would much rather put my money towards, but I still want to make makeup content. And so that shift into using what you have, doing will I buy it instead of hauls, and just sort of working around the makeup content without purchasing it or purchasing in bulk. We're seeing that more and more. Now, to finalize this video, the way that we measure how we apply those habits into our lives will be different. So some people are gonna want to declutter more. Some people are gonna want to declutter less. Some people are okay with bulk decluttering. Some people just want to take away a few pieces here and there and kind of ease into the process. Some people are going to want to do a low buy, set a budget for themselves and stick to it because they still want to be purchasing makeup, while others are just like, this is overwhelming, I need to use what I have, this is ridiculous. Case in point right here. Maybe you're still wanting to have a collection and build on it, but the amount and frequency you build onto that collection is minimized. Or using makeup as a platform and means for income requires you to buy makeup, but maybe you're doing so less than you would normally do. Whatever reason that we're slowing down in our makeup consumptions, there's sort of this umbrella that we all fall under where it's become overwhelming, and maybe that we're in search of something new because of it being overwhelming. And really, I feel like that's why low buying and no buying has become more frequent and more of a push for some people to try out, because it's like we know what it's like to have lived through that rise in popularity of just consuming makeup in large quantities, and now we have all of it, and it's like I know for me, that urge to just have and have and have, it dies down eventually. And now I'm finding new ways to love makeup. Like, I'm always gonna love makeup, but the way I chose to do that before was to consume it, like buy it. Anything that was new and exciting and looked pretty, I would buy. And now for me, it's like figuring out what truly makes me happy, what I know I will use and has purpose in my collection. And I think that that's something more and more people are realizing for themselves. So yeah, that is this video. It was just kind of like, let's talk about no buying. I've been watching so much more content from different people doing low buys, doing no buys, shopping their stashes, and it's just such a drastic difference from what we saw a few years ago that I felt like, let's just talk. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys like this makeup look, you guys know the drill. Check me out on Instagram, first link in the description box down below, where I will post a photo of this makeup look along with all the products in the caption. Till the next video, I hope you all are doing well, taking great care of yourselves. I will see you all next time. Bye guys!